Like, that guy is insane. That guy's knocked out two of the greatest featherweights of all time, Volkanovski and Max Holloway. Nobody could knock those guys out in featherweight before, and he did it. And he did it, and he made it look easy. And with Ilia, it's everything. It's his submissions, his kicks, his punches, everything. He can do anything. I mean, he does everything perfect. All his technique is perfect. And he's fucking driven and ultra confident.
Ele é um cara perigoso, nocauteou o Max Holloway, né? Na última luta dele, então é um cara que é perigoso, né? Tem um jiu-jitsu que todo mundo fala que é bom, ainda ele não usou no UFC.
I think Ilia, man. I think he's going to be way undersized against Charles. I just don't, unless Charles can sub him, maybe if he hurts him, but it's going to be tough.
With just 8 days remaining until the highly anticipated showdown between Ilia Topuria and Charles Oliveira at UFC 317, Joe Rogan has delivered a surprising analysis of the upcoming event. Shockley's Oliveira, on the other hand, sees this fight as a fulfillment of destiny. In his mind, this moment was always inevitable. When asked if Topuria has shown him the same level of respect, Oliveira said he doesn't believe, so he feels that Topuria has been doing a lot of talking. But he's not overly concerned. For Oliveira, the truth will come out when they meet in the Octagon on June 28th. As for how he plans to win, he isn't focused on a specific method, whether it's a knockout or submission. What matters most to him is securing the victory. He believes this win is already written and will serve as another milestone in his growing legacy.
Feel like he's given you that same respect in the lead up to this fight?
No, definitely not. He didn't treat with the same respect. Man, I don't know. He's been saying a lot, but the fact of the matter is we're going to find out on June 28th. Everyone knows who the real champion is.
You talk a lot about legacy. You've mentioned it multiple times. What is the best way to win this fight for your legacy? Is it to knock out Ilia? Is it to submit him? Is it to dominate him for 5 rounds? What is going to be the best result for Charles Oliveira's legacy?
I just want to win. You know, that it's meant to be. It's already.
On a recent podcast, Joe Rogan shared his thoughts on the upcoming clash between Ilia Topuria and Charles Oliveira, calling it a thrilling moment in UFC history. Rogan believes that MMA is entering an exciting and unpredictable new era. He praised Topuria for his incredible achievements, particularly his knockouts of 2 of the greatest featherweights of all time, something no one else had accomplished in the division. Rogan noted that Topuria made it look effortless, highlighting just how skilled and dangerous he truly is. He added that this is a remarkable period for the sport, with new fighters entering the UFC and immediately performing like seasoned world-class contenders even in their debut bouts.
Topuria, who's fighting Charles Oliveira at the end of the month, like, that guy is insane. That guy's knocked out 2 of the greatest featherweights of all time, Volkanovski and Max Holloway. Nobody could knock those guys out in featherweight before, and he did it. And he did it, and he made it look easy. You know, he made it look like they're like he's just on another level from everybody. You know, and then now he's moving up to 155 pounds. He's like decided he cleared out that division. He's moving up. Like, he's
insane. Yeah,
insane. There's guys like that are just their level is above everybody else's level. And with Ilia, it's everything. It's his submissions, his kicks, his punches, everything. He can do anything. I mean, he does everything perfect. All his technique is perfect. And he's fucking driven and ultra confident. You know, this is an amazing time for the sport, man. It's a crazy time because these guys that are coming in with like one fight in the UFC, they look like world-class contenders, like right away.
Joe Rogan also weighed in on Charles Oliveira, calling him an absolute monster and one of the most dangerous fighters in the UFC today. He noted that many fans tend to overlook just how lethal Oliveira is because of his earlier losses. However, Rogan emphasized that Oliveira has evolved significantly over the years. Entering the UFC at just 20 years old, Oliveira has grown into his prime and become a far more complete fighter. Rogan believes Oliveira has truly figured things out, and it's time for fans to stop dwelling on his past defeats and instead appreciate how much he has progressed.
The monster. People think of Oliveira as not being a monster because there's times that people have beaten him, but he got better. You got to accept that and not think of like when he lost.
Because so many people, who gets better at 35?
I don't believe he's 35.
No?
I think he's 33, and I also think that he got into the UFC when he was 20. But he came into his own over the last few years, which kind of makes sense. Like, he figured it out. And so part of the problem was like he was learning and developing and growing as an elite organization.
On the other hand, Charles Oliveira acknowledged that Ilia Topuria is a dangerous opponent with an aggressive boxing style, constantly pressing forward with sharp combinations. He highlighted Topuria's knockout of Max Holloway in his last fight as clear proof of his power and skill. Oliveira also noted that while Topuria is known for having strong jiu-jitsu, he hasn't truly showcased that aspect of his game in the UFC yet. Despite Topuria's strengths, Oliveira isn't overly concerned with what his opponent brings to the table. Instead, he's focused on himself, grateful for the opportunity. and viewing this fight as another pivotal chapter in building his legacy.
Ele tem um boxe agressivo que manda 2, 3 mãos, né, andando pra frente. Ele é um cara perigoso, nocauteou o Max Holloway, né, na última luta dele. Então, é um cara que é perigoso, né? Tem um jiu-jitsu que todo mundo fala que é bom, ainda ele não usou no UFC, mas falam que é bom o jiu-jitsu dele. Então, assim, cara, de verdade, eu tô preocupado com o que eu posso levar pra dentro do cage, o quanto que tô feliz, né, com mais essa oportunidade, né, mais algo gigante pro meu legado.
Ilia Topuria believes Charles Oliveira's fighting style is the perfect setup for him to secure a first-round finish at UFC 317, while showing respect by calling Oliveira a great and legendary fighter, one of the few still competing at a high level in the UFC. Topuria made his intentions crystal clear. He wants to put Oliveira to sleep early. Charles is a great fighter. I'd say he's legendary, one of the few still active in the UFC. But the truth is, his style fits perfectly with mine, to put him to sleep in the first round because he has no mobility. He doesn't move, Topuria said, ahead of the highly anticipated title fight. Topuria sent a clear warning to Oliveira in a training video, showcasing his powerful punches and sharp boxing skills. Confidently, he told Oliveira to bring a pillow because he plans to put him to sleep. The undefeated featherweight champion emphasized that he's not just aiming to win, he wants to finish the former lightweight champion in dominant fashion. Despite Topuria's trash talk, Oliveira remains unfazed. Having spent 15 years in the UFC, he's heard it all before. Once seen as a kid among lions, Oliveira now considers himself a lion among lions. He explained that while others talk, he stays focused on training and improving. Laughing off the criticism, Oliveira noted he has consistently proven doubters wrong. Whether it's about his toughness or knockout power, he's made it clear that no amount of talk will shake his focus or confidence heading into UFC 3. Charles Oliveira also responded to Ilia Topuria's "bring a pillow" comment, saying he's heard this kind of talk many times before. Over the years, numerous fighters have tried to get inside his head with words, but when the fight was over, it was always Oliveira's hand raised in victory. For him, the trash talk doesn't matter. What truly counts is what happens inside the cage.
É muito foda que eu não gosto de ficar falando muito que tudo que a gente fala, você tá ligado, né? Mas tudo burburinho, né? Mas eu acho que já passou a fase disso, né? São 15 anos dentro do UFC. Né, eu entrei um menino lá dentro, eu era só um moleque lá dentro, igual eu tudo que eu falei pesa, né? Eu sou só um menino no meio dos leões. Hoje eu me sinto um leão no meio dos leões, um leão diferenciado, um leão embaçado. O último, o Charles desiste, eu fui lá e atropelei. O último, o Charles não tem mão, eu fui lá e nocauteei. O Charles não tem o sei o que lá, eu fui lá e fiz. Então eu acho que assim, é tão bagulho, são tantas coisas loucas que, tipo, se a ideia é essa de ficar falando, de ficar cogitando pra ver se vai me abalar, cara, tipo, eu vejo os negócios, tipo, se é que vocês estão longe, vocês não estão vendo, mas se você perguntar pros meninos que andam comigo, você vê, tipo, eu dou risada, tá ligado? Porque é coisas tão irrelativas, enquanto eles estão falando, eu tô treinando, eu tô me dedicando.
Charles Oliveira made it clear that he's not the type to constantly post or trash talk just to hype a fight. He knows what matters most: staying focused, training hard, and being ready for June 28th. With the big day fast approaching, he's choosing to spend time close to his loved ones while remaining fully dedicated to his preparation. Oliveira admitted that talking more might earn him extra money, but that's just not his style. He doesn't know how to sell a fight with words, and prefers to let his performance inside the cage do the talking.
Ele fez post pedindo para você não esquecer de levar o travesseiro para a luta. O que ele não pode esquecer de levar?
Cara, você sabe disso, não adianta o que eles vão falar. Pra mim não faz diferença, irmão. Eu acho que só Deus sabe das coisas para acontecer, né? Dia 28 agora de junho, né? A gente vai se enfrentar. Eu acho que eu sou um problema tanto para ele ou para qualquer um que vai lutar. Eu sou um cara que tem o poder de fogo nas mãos, um cara que tem um jiu-jitsu absurdo. O que o Topuria tá falando ou qualquer outro cara tá falando, para mim não faz diferença de nada. Você já viu essa novela várias vezes, de muitos deles que falaram um monte de coisas e vocês sabem o que aconteceu no final, foi meu braço que foi levantado, então não faz diferença.
On the other hand, lightweight legend Dustin Poirier shared his thoughts on the Ilia Topuria versus Charles Oliveira matchup. Expressing concern that Topuria might be undersized against Oliveira, he believes Oliveira's size and submission skills could pose serious challenges for Topuria, especially if Oliveira manages to hurt him early. However, Poirier also pointed out that Oliveira tends to absorb a lot of damage, and with Topuria's knockout power, that could make the fight dangerous. For both, overall, Poirier is excited to see how the matchup unfolds.
Você me conhece, eu não sou aquele que tem que ficar postando, aquele que tem que ficar falando, aquele que tem que fazer. Eu sei o que eu tenho que fazer, o trampo é dia 28, então eu tenho que simplesmente se focar e tá pronto, tem 2 semanas para isso acontecer, então eu só tenho que estar feliz, perto das pessoas que eu amo e treinando e me dedicando. Ah, pô, mas se você falasse você ganhava muito mais dinheiro. Fazer o quê? Eu não sei fazer isso, eu não sei falar desse jeito, eu não sei vender a luta dessa forma, não é o meu jeito de vender, então deixa eu ganhar o dinheiro que eu tô ganhando, que é o único jeito que eu sei fazer, é dessa forma, tranquilo, na minha. Na hora que fecha o queijo lá dentro, eu sei o que tem que fazer, que é andar pra frente, botar minhas mãos, e aí, no final de tudo, o que mais importa é o seu braço sendo levantado.
Michael Bisping also weighed in on the upcoming fight between Ilia Topuria and Charles Oliveira. He praised Oliveira as one of the most exciting and skilled fighters in the lightweight division, noting that his aggressive, action-packed style is a fan favorite. However, Bisping pointed out a potential vulnerability: Oliveira's tendency to move forward recklessly, almost like walking through fire without fear. While this fearless approach has earned Oliveira many finishes and performance bonuses, Bisping cautioned that it could prove risky against a sharp and powerful striker like Ilia Topuria.
Ilia versus Charles fight. I think Ilia, man. I think he's going to be way undersized against Charles. I just don't, unless Charles can sub him, maybe if he hurts him, but it's going to be tough, I think. Because Charles gets hit a lot, you know, and Ilia puts people away. I'm excited about it.
Michael Bisping broke down the stylistic clash between Ilia Topuria and Charles Oliveira, highlighting Topuria's composed approach characterized by a tight guard, sharp footwork, head movement, and a low stance that allows him to control the pace. Bisping explained that this technical style could pose a serious threat to Oliveira, who often charges forward aggressively with his chin high and head on the center line. While Bisping praised Oliveira's exciting, fan-friendly style, he warned that it frequently leaves him vulnerable, something a powerful and precise striker like Topuria could easily exploit.
Charles Bronx Oliveira is an exciting fighter, and he is one of the best in the division and one of the most exciting. But it's the exciting style that he has that would give me cause for concern if I was coaching Charles Bronx Oliveira. The way that he walks forward like a buzzsaw with reckless abandon, the not giving a damn attitude, it's beautiful to watch. It's very, very entertaining. Nobody will be booing when Charles Oliveira fights, okay? But it's that reckless style that might get him clipped. Charles Oliveira, as we know, he's got the most bonuses, most finishes, most
5 minutes later.
Right? The man's excitement personified, but he takes a lot of chances.
Michael Bisping also emphasized that Charles Oliveira is one of the toughest and most dangerous fighters in the sport. He warned that if Ilia Topuria doesn't finish Oliveira early, the momentum could quickly shift in Oliveira's favor. With elite finishing instincts, Oliveira can seize, deliver vicious elbows and knees, and lock in submissions from nearly any position. Bisping stressed that even a small mistake could be all Oliveira needs to take control and end the fight.
Ilia Topuria, on the flip side, he's clean, he's composed, he's calm, he's in the moment, the hands are high, the base is low, the head is moving constantly, and he's looking at his opponent. He's tracking him down across the octagon. He's using the feet to corral him against the fence. He's looking for openings, and then he explodes. And when he explodes, we know he's got big power. He might explode the chin of Charles Oliveira. Whereas Charles Oliveira, on the flip side, with the shooter box style, he's walking forward, the head's on a straight line, and the chin's a little up. He's throwing knees, he's throwing elbows, he's throwing everything but the kitchen sink, and we absolutely love it. But that's got him in trouble.
John Anik is also eager to see how Ilia Topuria performs against a legend like Charles Oliveira. He reminded fans not to underestimate Oliveira's experience and resilience, even as Topuria's momentum continues to rise. With Topuria moving up in weight and fighting on the big stage during International Fight Week, Anik views this as a significant testimony that will reveal whether Topuria is truly ready for greatness.
Charles Oliveira, as we know, the man ain't no bitch. He ain't no bitch, and you better hope that it does explode, because if it doesn't, he's going to grab you by the neck, he's going to drop elbows in your face, he's going to knee you up the middle, and if you make one mistake with Charles Oliveira, boom, it's over. Quick as a flash, he's throwing on a submission, Goga platters, omoplatters, triangles, reverse triangles, you name it, heel hooks, knee bars, whatever, okay? You make one mistake with Charles Oliveira, and it is all.
Meanwhile, Arman Sarukian shared his thoughts on UFC 317, acknowledging that Charles Oliveira is an extremely dangerous fighter, especially with his ability to lock in submissions from nearly any position. However, Sarukian noted that Oliveira lacks strong freestyle wrestling and likely won't be able to take down a wrestler like Ilia Topuria easily. He believes that while Oliveira can be dangerous off his back, Topuria's superior boxing and defensive wrestling will help him keep the fight standing, giving him a clear advantage in the matchup.
Topuria do it again and knock out another legend.
Dude, is Ilia Topuria getting the red corner? I mean, my goodness. Can we put some respect on the name Charles Oliveira? No, it's a fascinating fight. Yes, Justin Gaethje, who's the hardest man he's ever been hit by in all of his fights, and it's Charles Oliveira. And I'm just excited to see what Charles can do, because the betting line suggests that he's up against it. A lot of Charles's contemporaries are suggestive that this is a custom-made matchup for Ilia Topuria. He's taken on the most decorated finisher in UFC history and the man who reigns supreme atop this weight class. So fascinated to see it. And I think my biggest takeaway with Topuria is just the way guys like Kenny Florian talk about him in such superlative terms. And, we'll see if he can live up to the hype. I'm excited to see him in a division, not cut too much weight. And, great way to sort of usher him in, headlining International Fight Week for the soon-to-be vacant UFC lightweight title.
UFC light heavyweight fighter Modestas Bukauskas expressed his confidence in Ilia Topuria to defeat Charles Oliveira. While acknowledging Oliveira's sharp striking and elite jiu-jitsu, Bukauskas described Topuria as a little pocket rocket, with explosive power at close range. Despite the size and height difference between the two fighters, Bukauskas highlighted Topuria's strong grappling and solid wrestling, confidently predicting that Topuria will come out with the win.
Конечно, Оливера очень опасный, с любой позиции может душить. Но просто перевести у Оливера не такая вольная борьба. Допустим, моя работа, да, я люблю переводить. То есть я его перевожу, и он может контратаку какую-то сделать, там, душающий взять, как он взял меня там. То есть это возни не будет. Топурия просто будет работать, боксировать, не будет пытаться его переводить, так как у него намного лучше бокс, чем у Оливера. А у Оливера, мне кажется, недостаточно вольной борьбы, чтобы перевести Топурию.
Michael Chandler also shared his thoughts on the Ilia Topuria versus Charles Oliveira fight, revealing that he plans to watch it live cage-side. He acknowledged that Oliveira is a tough, well-rounded veteran who's always dangerous and difficult to bet against. At the same time, Chandler highlighted Topuria's explosive power and sharp striking, calling the matchup exciting and unpredictable, with the potential for fireworks from both fighters.
Say Ilia Topuria, just because although Oliveira's like jiu-jitsu is very good and he's got very crisp striking himself, I don't know, Ilia Topuria, he's like a little pocket rocket, isn't he? Do you know what I mean? When it comes in close and land those big shots, obviously he's a bit of a size difference in terms of height and stuff like this, but he's also got great jiu-jitsu as well and good wrestling. So yeah, in my opinion, I think Topuria would take.
UFC middleweight fighter Jack Hermanson also expressed his excitement for the Ilia Topuria versus Charles Oliveira matchup, while he showed admiration for Oliveira and called himself a fan. Hermanson admitted that Topuria currently looks unstoppable. Given Topuria's dominant form and momentum, he gave Ilia the edge going into the fight.
I'll be cage side for that fight to watch it, and we'll see how it plays out.
Yeah, who do you think is going to win?
Man, it's tough. You don't bet against freaking Charles Oliveira because he's so dang good everywhere, and he's a really hard guy to beat. With that being said, Ilia Topuria's got some crazy power in his hands and crazy accurate strikes. So it'll be very interesting to see how that fight.
With just over a week left until UFC 317, the excitement surrounding Ilia Topuria versus Charles Oliveira is reaching a fever pitch. Get ready to witness confidence and power collide with Oliveira's experience and finishing instincts in what promises to be an explosive showdown. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for all the latest updates and reactions as we count down to this epic clash on June 28th.